had some emergency. One of our clients had to meet us, so I was delayed. I'd like to thank Shraddha, I think her name, yeah, for the wonderful introduction. According to me, I'm addressing the future of India, and therefore it is my privilege to address you. So no need to thank you. I should thank all of you for inviting me. The reason is, by 2030, India is aiming at becoming a 5 trillion economy. Yeah, and I'm just coming from Delhi. I met 25 state vice chancellors, and I had a very interactive sessions with them. And all of us are here to look at the youth, because by 2050, the government is aiming at becoming what you call 50 trillion economy, India. So today, in the world economy, can you tell me, take a guess, we are in the world ranking in economy number? Five or four? Four. So we just overtook UK, and so we are fourth. By 2050, we aim to become number two. When we become a 50 trillion economy, we will be becoming number two. So the race is between US and China for number one. Both are still trying to, US is still number one, and China is likely to overtake. So how the economy will look like, it's all different. But how do we aim to get this 50 trillion is because we are going to create a lot of budding entrepreneurs like all of you. Yeah, and so it's not going to come through Adani, Ambani, or Tatas. It's going to come by the Badrugans and the like all over India. So it is my responsibility, and I like to thank Mitesh sir for giving me this opportunity, because you are all going to make the 50 trillion happen. So can you give yourself a big round of applause? So I'm very happy that under the leadership of Mitesh sir, all of you are going to get a lot of inputs to become a successful entrepreneur. Can anybody tell me how many lakh of entrepreneurs are there in India today? Take a guess. I think shortly getting some chocolates. So whoever answers, I will throw some chocolates. Okay. I want to make it interactive, not a very serious session. Yes. Please raise your hand. 5 lakhs. Okay. 50 lakhs. Very good. No, it's open. So anybody else? Come on, guys. More than a crore. Okay, anybody else? Okay, currently you are nearest. Okay, so it is 79 lakhs of entrepreneurs, and I don't have the latest data, but 79 lakh entrepreneurs. In the world, can you guess what is the average age of an entrepreneur?
20,
You raise your hand and whoever catches my attention. 40? No rate, only one give me. 40.
20,
30.
25,
25.
25,
38. 21. 20. So you are the nearest. Yes, somebody said yes. 20. Okay. So it is 14 years. 14 years is the world average. Yeah. So there are a lot of youngsters who have got a lot of creative ideas, and so they're all becoming entrepreneurs. So 7 years back or 8 years back, I went to Bangalore, and I was addressing an engineering college. And so one of the students in the first year engineering, he created an enterprise, and he had to get an agreement signed with the Australian company. And so he created a partnership, a memorandum of understanding, and he went to the registrar, and the registrar said, "You are a 17-year-old kid, and you are still not an adult, and therefore you can't sign." So he had to request his father to sign the agreement because he was quite young. So what I'm saying, but today the laws of the land is changing. A lot of government support to all the people who are, looking at becoming an entrepreneur. So I'm really excited, and so in the next maybe 40-45 minutes, we will interact. And I would like you to choose two people partners. Quickly, can you pair up? It is by design you are sitting because of COVID. It is the protocol. Okay. You can still talk to two people. Yeah. Yeah. To choose partners. So both of you can. Yeah. You are all coming from different streams.
Everyone,
right?
please sit where you are sitting. It's okay. Leave that one chair gap. What sir said is you can still do. So let's maintain that one chair gap.
Okay.
And you can always talk to your friend.
You're all coming from different streams, I'm told. So some of you may know it's a good way to get to know your fellow participants, right? Okay. I want you all to talk to each other and say, do you like somebody to control you? And who controls you most, and what you don't like about being controlled? Talk to each other. Come on. So first, let yourself introduce, because some of you may not know. At least you will have some extra name.
You can't remove this?
You need to know one.
Sir, the stand is
Done? Or still the dialogue is going on? Another 2 minutes. You can compete. Okay? Done? Okay. Now, I'm sure a lot of you may not like to get controlled. Am I right? Yeah. So today, when you join a company, you will have to report to a boss. And the boss is always right. Right? So many times people leave companies. They say they join good companies and leave because of their bosses. Yeah. So anybody with that experience? No. But some of you agree. Yeah. Because if you have a horrible boss, you think you're hell with this company, and I will go and join some other company. But if you are an entrepreneur, nobody will control you. You can have the full fees. So, one way in life to have is to become an entrepreneur because you are your own boss. Yeah. I went to IIM Bangalore a couple of years back, just before the COVID, as an alumni. And Dr. Subramanian Swami had come there to address all of us. And so he was talking to the then existing students. And he asked them, how many of you want a job? 80% of the students raised their hand and said, oh, we all are already getting placed, we are getting placement. And so 80% or more than 80% wanted to join job. So he said, 80% of you are what you call, he used the term confirmed poverty. You are all going to be confirmed poverty, which means you will get incremental salary, you will put in lot of effort, and you sometimes the increment may not even meet the inflation, yeah, and sometimes you may get, if you get a promotion or something, you may beat inflation. Whereas if you are an entrepreneur, there is no limit to the income you can get. So he said, become more and more entrepreneurs. Now I'm not telling all of us here are taking up this, but you can explore. What I'm trying to say is you can explore, and many times you can work in a company and become an intrapreneur. That means entrepreneur, but you are not taking all the risks. Okay. So let me, with that brief thing, and I'll tell you what are the advantages. So can we change the slide? Now you go through all these and count if you are S to that. For example, are you street smart? All Badrukans are smart. I'm not saying that, but are you street smart? Okay. So if you are street smart, then you say yes, count 1. Second one answer yes, count 2. Like that. Count to yourself. Okay, be honest. Yeah. So are you street smart? Are you no, you need not, but you just count yourself. Okay. Comfortable out of your comfort zone. Yeah. How many times you go to the class, occupy the same chair? How many of you go and sit with the same friend? Yeah. That means you are not moving out of your comfort zone. Are you with me? Yeah. If you are used to wearing full sleeves, how many of us are comfortable wearing a half sleeves? Yeah. So many times we are used to the comfort zone. If you are comfortable in your comfort zone, then able to accept the possibility of failure, to attempt, and sometimes it's okay to fail. Yeah. Intuitive, the sixth sense. Yeah. A lover of independence. Can you motivate somebody to be non-conformist? That means don't follow the rules. Okay, you are a rebel and you have to do different things. A leader who takes initiative to get the things done. Able to thrive on change. You don't mind taking risk, and then you are a dreamer. Okay, you dream. You have a lot of vision. You want to do something different. So there are 11 things. If any one of you got 7 and more, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Yeah. If any one of you got 7 and more, then you have most of the qualities of becoming an entrepreneur. Yeah? If somebody is bordering around 5 to 7, then you can, be a good job, or the other people who got less than 4, not that you cannot become an entrepreneur, but you have to put in a lot of efforts. Okay? Next slide. So now, if you have a piece of paper, you can put this 9 dots, and first put the 9 dots. If some of you have already tried this exercise, then you can be silent. But if otherwise, you can put this 9 dots. Don't say the secret. Anybody wants a pen? You want a pen? Okay, you have. Okay. So 9 dots. Now listen to the instruction. You need to join all the dots without lifting your hand. You can cross, but you have to connect all the 9 dots with the minimum number of straight lines. So attempt and see how many straight lines you take to join all the 9 dots. Spend about 2 minutes.
Anyone from 1K here? You people close your books.
Okay. Then you can help me. You can come and help.
1K we have done this.
You've done that? Okay. Don't give the tips. And tell me, so another 1 more minute to go. Done? So how many of you got 6 lines? 6 or more? 6. How many of you got 5? A lot of them would have got 5. But the one case, anybody got 4? Show me what you have done. You didn't do. 1, 2, 3. No, you are then lifting your hand. Without lifting your hand. Okay. You got 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5. You got. Wow, that is good. So, your good name? Huh? Tejaswini. Okay, you get here. So you can come. Or the 1K students also can come. Come, you also come. And explain how you are able to do that in 4 days. Come. You can just point out.
Should I bring my?
No, you can point out. That's all. Yeah, 1K student forgot. No, come. Yeah, now just watch. Come. Yeah, now you take them. So how, and you count the number of lines. Yeah. You can't reach, but you can explain. Yeah, you can explain.
You tell them, we will show them.
So this is the first line. This is the second line. We have to
Go
extend
straight.
this and again
Go
join that
straight.
dot.
Got it? So, for example, what she's saying is, take it like this. 1. Huh? To this. Okay. So from here you are taking it straight. Okay. From there, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4. Got it? Yeah. So for keeping the secret and not sharing it with you get one. So okay. One by three. So please give them a round of applause. Whenever after the class we can discuss how to do it. Our mindset is we think within the dotted line. But if you go out of the box, then you can join in 4 lines. Yeah. So always don't be constrained. Always think beyond the box. Is it clear? Yeah. Next. Now, Andrew Grove. He is a famous vice chairman, retired, of Intel Corporation. He has written a book called Only the Paranoid Survive. And in that, he has defined inflection point. What he says is, change, as we know, is constant. Every time change is happening. But there comes a time when the change is so dramatic that it throws everything haywire. And that he calls it as an inflection point. We all saw COVID, and that was an inflection point because till then education was all face to face, then suddenly we have to change to online. So that, according to Andrew Grove, is an inflection point. Now, why is that inflection point very, very important? Is in the 19th century, anything which you build lasts for at least 30 years. Okay? In the 20th century, anything you build lasts for 10 to 15 years. Now, in the 21st century, anything you build lasts for only 5 years. And in the pharma and in the telecom, the inflection point is happening every 2 years. Yeah. So is that change so dramatic? Is it good news or a bad news? Please raise your hand. Bad news? Who said? Bad news. Tell me why it's a bad news. Louder. No, I can tell you. Getting? So whatever you do, it lasts only for 2 years and it gets obsolete, too early. Why is it a good news? You get to try new things, yes.
There is no stability in the market.
There will be no stability in the market, so many changes are happening. But it should be a good news. Yeah, it will get. Sure. It's a good news because when things change so fast, experience, whatever, your friends, smile guys, smile. Yeah. We are in a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world. Yeah. And so in this volatile, nobody knows what is going to happen later. Because if 79 lakh people are coming out with new things, they are going to disrupt whatever is stable. Yeah. And therefore, we all need to adapt to change. And therefore, experience one need not have. If you don't determine, I have a great idea, you can become an entrepreneur next year. Yeah. Our Prime Minister calls a demographic dividend because by 2030, 50% of the Indian population will be in the age group of 19 to 34, which means they are the working force, and we will become slowly the largest in the world. Yeah, and only China and India are having those workforce. China sometime back had a zero growth policy for 10 years, and therefore no baby was born. And there is a huge gap in the age demography. But in India, we didn't have all those restrictions. So now today, we have a very strong workforce. Unfortunately, the skill are lacking, so only few people are getting the job. If we all determine to learn whatever we want and adopt skills and acquire skills, we can all get fantastic jobs world over. Yeah. I was talking to the American consulate recently, and they said that so many counters they opened, and still a lot of dates for visa they are not able to get. A lot of students want to go abroad study, and 2 days back the UGC said foreign universities can come to India. Yeah, and so you will see from June a lot of big institutes setting up their base in India, because the youth are there here and in China. So if you have to become an entrepreneur, then we all need to develop good mindset. Yeah, and we will discuss a little on those. But I was traveling yesterday from Delhi, very, very cold, 1.5 degrees. Okay. And I was sitting next to a youngster, and his brother happens to be from Baduka. Okay. And so he had, I was just talking to him, and he said, I have dream, and I've got a lot of idea. So he opened his, cell phone, and he told me all those 40, 50 ideas. Whenever he gets an idea, he keeps, writing down. And I told him this all, by the time you land, 50% of the idea will be implemented somewhere. So, better you convert those ideas into value propositions. So he was quite stunned. He's going to come to Batuta. He's an IT professional. So I told him, whatever you have ideas, speed plus innovation is called innovation. Yeah. And speed now plus innovation is no longer valid. It is speed into innovation. And next year, it will become speed to the power of innovation, because it's changing so fast. So if you have good ideas, friends, convert that into value proposition and quickly launch it in the market, because somebody else would better it and maybe launch it much earlier. So there is a lovely book which I'm sure our entrepreneur club will have. I would request all of the younger, budding entrepreneurs to read this book called Blue Ocean Strategy by Kim and Rennie. So before I explain just what is this Blue Ocean, we need to understand what is Red Ocean. Yeah, next slide. I will come to Red Ocean and Blue Ocean in a minute. But let's look at the definition of an entrepreneur. So whoever has got a good eyesight, can you read the first definition? Raise your hand and read. Yeah.
Person who undertakes enterprise with chances of profit or loss.
Okay. So this is a definition of an entrepreneur. The next definition, anybody else? Yeah.
An individual who bears the risk of operating business in the face of uncertainty about the future conditions.
Okay, good. Third one. Yes.
One who starts his or own new and small business.
Yeah. All these have implications, and that's why I brought many definitions. Okay. And I will explain. There are some more. Next slide. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes.
Entrepreneurship is the ability and readiness to develop, organize, and run a business enterprise, along with any of its uncertainties in order to make a profit. The most prominent example of entrepreneurship is the starting of new business.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for all those who read the definitions. For what time I'm not going into details, but this presentation I'll leave it to the club to meet, you know, Mitesh sir, so that he can keep it on your website or WhatsApp or whatever. Yeah. These definitions are very, very important. So what basically it means is, in 1608, the first definition of entrepreneur started. Yeah, and it was a French entrepreneur, and we will look at that. And afterwards, many people started redefining as the world kept changing. And so this definition is the sum total of all those definitions. Yeah, the Encyclopedia, they define entrepreneurship was the second definition I showed you earlier, and the last one was from Oxford Dictionary. This is, according to me, a sum total of all. What it means is, you may not start your own business, you may help your father's business, then also you are an entrepreneur, as long as you make some changes. If you are just running a business on behalf of your father, then you are not an entrepreneur. But you have to make some changes in that business, then you can become and call yourself an entrepreneur. Next slide. So, this is a French. So, there are three components of entrepreneurship. One is the entrepreneur, the second is entrepreneurship, and enterprise is the company. So, entrepreneur is a person like all of you. Entrepreneurship is the process or the philosophy. So I heard just before my coming, Shanda was talking about stock, yeah, and those are the process. How to develop an idea, how to plan, how to submit a value proposition to the bank for funding. All these are the processes. And I'm very happy in the next 15 days or something, you'll all go through all those details, you know. And so when you learn all that, including the philosophy of entrepreneurship, that is, what is your goal in life, the dream, combined together is the entrepreneurship. And each of these processes, I'm sure the important ones, you will look in detail. This is just an intro session. And finally, when you create a company, it is an object. Yeah. So the French word entrepreneur is entre is enter, pre is before, and neur is the nerve center. So through all your creative ideas, you create an idea, convert that idea into a business. It could be a service, it could be an idea generating value, or a product generating value. So entrepreneurship can be described as a creative and innovative response to the environment. Is it clear? Okay, so let's do a quick one more exercise. I would like you all to stand up if you are born in the month of November. Anybody born in the month of November? Continue standing. Continue standing. Anybody born in the month of January? Continue standing. Anybody born in the month of January? Anybody born in the month of March? Anybody born anywhere between January to December. Stretch yourself. Yeah. Stretch yourself. Good. Take it. Now the latest definition of the 21st century, can somebody read the definition of entrepreneur? Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
It is the process of creating something different.
It is the process of creating something different with value by devoting the necessary time and effort, assuming the accompanying financial, psychic, social risks, and receiving the resulting rewards of monetary and personal satisfaction and independence.
So there are some key words there. Can anybody tell me the first key word? Word.
Creating.
Creating. Very good. Second. Different. Third. Value. Yeah. So this definition I would like to all of you to constantly keep in mind because it creates a lot of effort. You have to put in a lot of effort. It is not for the lazy guys like me. Yeah. People who put in a lot of effort can become a good entrepreneur. It's a creative process. You cannot eliminate in creating. And finally, there is a lot of money. Yeah. And I think that is also a very, very important aspect. Next slide. Yeah. So now you have to bear in mind the red ocean and the blue ocean. Most of the businesses in the world currently are operating in what I call as the red ocean. Red ocean is somebody is doing, so you are also doing, and you are doing it better. So you reduce your cost, the other guy reduces further, and it goes on, and it becomes a bloodbath. Nobody wins. So I will quote one example. I was the CEO of a company called Roxas Technologies. I don't think anybody sitting here would have heard of the name of that company. Yes? Nobody would have heard. So we were the only company manufacturing routers in the country. Our greatest competitor, world leader, was Cisco. So most of the routers in the world is either Cisco or Juniper to the other companies, but the Cisco is the world leaders. In Hyderabad, we were making a router. And so we were making a lot of interesting routers because we cannot compete with Cisco because Cisco is the world leader. But we have hardware, software, and therefore we thought we will have a competitive advantage over Cisco by doing customized software, customized router for a particular application. Cisco can't do that because there are large clients to take care, so they will have standard models. Okay. So one example I will quote. Earlier, the ATM application, the ATM bank. Anybody went to an ATM to withdraw money?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So invariably it is in the ground floor. As per the RBI guidelines, you have to be, all the old people cannot climb. So, and in the rooftop, you had a dish antenna. And that was done by an $8 billion company called Hughes Escorts in Delhi. So they had a dish antenna, and the connectivity to the bank is through the satellite. A dish antenna costs around 2.2 lakhs, very sturdy technology, but it has to be installed on the rooftop. So when a bank negotiates with the owner in the ground floor, after some time they realize that the owner of the terrace is different. And the owner in the terrace sometimes charges more rent than the ground floor because the bank has no option but to put the satellite on the rooftop. One day, the RBI decided that ATM should be opened in town 2, town 3, and they gave targets to all the banks. So for every 5 you want to open in the metro, you have to open 3 in the town 2 and 1 in the town 1. And it was becoming very, very uneconomical because you have to have a guard, security guard, you have to have all the paraphernalia, you have to ensure that the money is there in all the ATM machines. So bank went through a lot of challenge. My company made a product which was the size of a router, small, slightly bigger than the cell phone, and which could be kept in the next to the ATM machine. Yeah, and we charged at 20K. And using Reliance CDMA network, we could connect to the bank. So overnight, huge escorts had to wind up their business. $6 billion company. And all the tenders of the banks in India were re-tendered because nobody wants to spend 2.2 lakhs when they can get a router for 20,000. So friends, a small unknown company could overthrow overnight, within 3 months, a huge escorts company which had $6 billion. So they have to wind up their business. So friends, there are many interesting stories. Maybe next time when you learn a few more things, I can share with you. So why I'm saying that is, every time you are fighting with competition, you create bloodbath. Yeah? Competition becomes more and more severe. Yeah? And profits and growth shrinks. Because nobody actually wins in the long run. If you make a product and you are selling it at 100 rupees, somebody else makes a profit, same product and sells it at 80 rupees, you have to make it 70 and somebody will still reduce it to 60, so nobody eats away all the profit. And finally, we are all dependent on the conventional strategy. So this is called the red ocean strategy. So the authors of this book say you should move away from being a red ocean company to a blue ocean company. Next. Next. So blue ocean is to capture new market. Don't go into the existing market. You create your own market. Yeah. There is no competition in the new market. Yeah. And you will make quick money. Yeah. And you can keep adding value. And by the time more and more people think, you are making profit, let me also come. You move to next level. Yeah. Offer leap in value and also streamlining costs. Many times I have seen, with my limited experience, a lot of money is wasted in the company. So as an entrepreneur, you should be very, very careful in controlling the cost so that you can maximize the profit. But the value should be huge. My marketing professor in IIM told me that price is a notion, but if you create more value, price becomes meaningless. So if a product is sold at, like I always ask my staff, you are paying X amount of fees, am I right? Yes? How much? 55,000. As long as I'm asking my faculty, are we giving value more than 1 lakh to the student? Then 55,000 is no issue. But if I'm charging 55,000 and I am giving value only 30,000, then I'm not doing my job. Is it clear? So whoever charges whatever for the product always have to question Whether in terms of value, they are giving much, much higher. Yeah? And as long as we are able to give that, so you have to keep on questioning yourself and charging a price. How to charge a price, I'm sure will be part of your further program. But a blue ocean is creating new markets not heard of and creating value. So we have two of your BCom second year students who are now passed out. Have you heard about them, Sania and Siddiq? Yeah? So they created a company. Anybody knows what the company's name? Good Minds. Yeah, so they created a website on wellness during the COVID. They had 20 doctors on their panel, depending on what kind of, suppose some student going through depression, wanted some counseling, they could go on one-on-one and get counseling. If they have psychiatric problem, then they can meet a psychologist. So we all helped them in the first round of seed money. And when it was due for the second round, they told we don't want it. So we asked them why, and they told we already made profit. Yeah. So I asked, how come you made so much of profit? So they said that we have many of our clients, students from US, paying in dollars. So when an Indian student pays 1 rupee, they pay $1, that is 84 rupees or 74 rupees those days. So they made a huge amount. So friends, it is the value. And I met some of the doctors because we invited Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, Industry Secretary, to come and inaugurate the incubation center of Paduka, and where these people presented their products. So it is fantastic, fantastic. Okay. So my request and urge all of you, the budding entrepreneurs, to look at creating new blue ocean strategies. Yeah. Next. So creativity and innovation is the key. If you want to start a new business, you have to think of some new idea. Yeah. So can somebody read the definition of innovation and creativity?
The capacity which each of us have to invent a new and useful solution to problem.
Yeah.
When low probability line of thought leads to an effective idea, there is a eureka moment, and at once the low probability approach acquires the highest probability.
So many times people think, oh, why did I think of this? Or somebody will say, I also thought of it, but they borrowed and they also had. So what I am thinking is, unfortunately, I hope it's not recorded, the education is conditioning us. All of you have to follow the syllabus, all of you to learn this, mug up, reproduce in the exam, only then you can get good marks. So according to me, education is becoming a constraint because you are conditioning the students from being creative. Yeah, the multiple choice questions. Yeah, C is the right answer. You can't take out any creativity there. Either A, B, or C. You have to write the right answer. But if the question paper is set in such a way which will make you think differently, yeah, then that is really great. So in the innovation and creativity session in IIM, we had a subject, and the question paper was write 100 uses of arguments on why all men in India should become poor. 100 reasons why all men in India should become poor. And give a title for that program. So I could not think more than 30, 40. Yeah? But I had a very interesting title. Here today, gone tomorrow. That was my title. I can still remember that. But more than 30, 40. but a classmate of mine did 101. Okay, so why I'm saying that is very, very creative. He can think more number of reasons why all men should go for. Yeah, 50 uses of bricks. Yeah, so these were the kind of creative thing on creativity. Of course, then we had a case study and all that. But what I'm saying, friends, education should become more and more open. And I think the new education policy of 2020 is trying to do that. And hopefully, before you pass out, because I'm told you're all in the first year, so before you all pass out, hopefully you will have some taste of those creative stuff. Otherwise, currently, lot many students are not finding very exciting the education, because what do you think when you go to a class? First, before you enter a class, what do you think? Attendance. Very good, being very honest. Yeah. Any other? Boring. Almost same. Because of attendance, you are too. Yeah. Huh? Friends. This is more positive. Forget education, but at least I can meet friends. Very good. If you come to the class with a feeling, wow, I'm going to learn something new. Yeah? You will get excited, charged, apart from meeting friends and so on. Every day you will feel wow. But you have to go and say again, I have to listen to the boring DG lecture. No choice, because the sir is monitoring, then half the fun is gone. Am I right? But education can be really exciting. I founded an international school, and it's called Santa Maria International in Seringampally. And the students were very excited. Earlier the parents used to wake them up and say, come on, get ready, have breakfast, get ready for the bus and so on. By doing a simple thing, we made the children get up with excitement to go to the school. What we did is, the first period was the sports period. Yeah. So every child has to come in a sports dress to the school. It was fantastic. Yeah. And then after 11 o'clock or something, there are some snacks, some juice, and then they go and sit in the class. But even the education, friends, is so structured that there is no roping. So I went to a movie with my family, and one girl approached me, wished me. It was an evening show. And she said, good evening, sir. And I said, yes, good evening. And I said, I'm sorry, I recognize you. She said, I'm from Santa Maria. And which class? She said, 12. 12? There's a public exam tomorrow. She said, yeah. And she's watching a movie with her family. Because no question paper is repeated. No routing. It's Cambridge. So, have you understood the concept? Only then you can write the paper. But no reproducing of knowledge, how much you can memorize, route and reproduce. So if you have learned that subject, you can sit, and no question paper is repeated. Here, I know last year questions do not come this year. Yeah, and if I see 5 years questions, I know which is all important. I have to just mug up and, score. But we don't have that knowledge. So friends, I'm sure through the Entrepreneurship Club, you will also make the right brain work more. Because as long as you have the logical brain, you will do very well in the BCom. But for entrepreneurship, you need to have innovation and creativity. So that is the use of the, it is a 12, 15. Yeah, next. So, creating a blue ocean is how to eliminate factors that are no value. So anytime you see a product which is all the useless things, if you can remove all that, and you will create a new product which has only value. Okay? It could be a process, it could be an idea. Raise factors that remove compromises. Many times what happens is earlier I want to make a cell phone which can fit into my pocket. So all the features have to be minimized so that I can put it in my cell phone. Are you with me? Now, unless I do all the features to minimize, okay, it is very difficult to put all the features. Yeah. But today, thanks to nanotechnology, you can bring in like the hair. You can write programs in that and do lots of functions which you cannot see into the naked eye. Yeah. That kind of minimization is possible. Through an operation heart, you can send a camera into your veins and see what are all the applications. Through a laser, you can just, burn that only portion, not affecting the other cells. So you can move after the operation within 2 days. Yeah. So those are the kind of things which can happen if you think raising the factors that remove compromises and create factors that add new sources of value. So here, the example which I quoted in Rocks is a router which can go next to the ATM machine is convenient for all the banks. There's no need to spend so much huge cost and rent for the tax. Yeah, 2.2 lakhs and 20,000. You can imagine the kind of price reduction, but better value. Yeah. So those are the things by which you can create many blue oceans. Next. So, what is blocking our creativity? Like I always tell, all children are born intelligent till they reach school. Yeah, in the school you are labeled weak in maths, you are very good in maths, you are weak in this, you are dumb in this, you can't, run, you can't play sports. So we are all thinking, I'm no good in maths, So parents also say, yeah, we should have somehow try to pass. So we are happy with 40. Yeah, we are slotted and we are conditioned. Yeah. So sometimes the creativity blockers are the habit. It takes 21 days to cultivate a habit scientifically. So if I want to reduce my weight, I'm trying. If I do brisk walking for 21 days, I will reduce weight. But if I do for 19 days, and now it is very cold, I say let me sleep and I will do after 2 days. And after 2 days it will become a little warm. And I say, yeah, now it is 20, 21. No, that is not the habit. I have to again start 21 days continuously. So anything which you do for 21 days becomes a habit. Likewise, if you have an unhealthy habit, it takes 21 days to remove that unhealthy habit. Yeah. So habit is one. People fear of making mistakes. Yeah, because mistake, failure are not looked at happily. Okay. People will think that you are dumb, you are dull, and parents cannot tell, oh, my son failed proudly. Can they say that? No. They got admission, they got 90, they'll all proudly say. Nobody will say, great, my son failed. Yeah. So in Roxas, we created a culture of removing the fear of failure. So in our vision document, we said that anybody can make mistakes in the company. Yeah. So when I used to take induction classes for my employees, I used to tell them only two people don't make mistakes. One is God he or she cannot make mistakes. The other person is a person who does not do anything. He also cannot, he or she cannot make mistakes. Since I want all of you to do doers, make mistakes. But you cannot repeat a mistake. You can make fresh mistakes. Because when you repeat a mistake, that means you have not learned from that mistake. Okay. So when a router is successful, the successful router is brought in the center of the hall. The hall is decorated with balloons. A huge cake is ordered, and the celebration starts. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So when a failed router happens, the failed router is also brought to the hall. The same balloons are decorated. The same huge cake is ordered, and celebration. Now we know what not to do. Now when you create a culture where people can make mistakes, people will take the risk. Yeah, and that's how this company made 13 products, and it grew year on year, and one day it got acquired, and I lost my job. Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you is it's a fantastic thing to happen when you create a culture where people can make mistakes, people can fail, because then only they'll be able to make out new things. Yeah. Fear of consequence, the weight of previous models, because they are doing so well in business, everybody tries to copy that model. Why can't you create a new model? Fear of change, comfort with patterns, certainty, yeah. Sometimes we have our own doubts. Can I do? You know, so this is self-doubt which is very dangerous. Yeah. And many times we say we are too young, age and lack of time. We don't have time. Yeah. But friends, the brain is a wonderful thing. It switches as soon as you wake up in the morning, and doesn't switch off again until you arrive at the fill in the blanks. Huh? Raise your hand. Yeah. Somebody said something.
Heaven.
No, what is that?
Heaven.
Heaven. So that is come back. Anybody else?
Destination.
1 minute. Death. Okay.
Destination.
Destination.
Goal.
What is that destination?
Whatever you think or expect to achieve.
Okay. Okay. So you can still take a chocolate, and you also can take. Can you just quickly pass on to? Yeah, and somebody else answer here. I say until you arrive at the classroom. Yeah, every day we switch off. Okay, so friends, it should not be. Yeah, the mind is a very powerful. So maybe I can talk one day only on how our brain. The most effective scientists, Nobel laureates, are using only 16% of their gray cells. So you can imagine how much potential we all have, which we are not using. Yeah. Next. So, again, I would like to summarize the red ocean and the blue ocean. Compete in existing market space is the red ocean. Create uncontested market space is the blue ocean. New market. Beat the competition is the focus of the red ocean strategy, whereas the blue ocean is make the competition irrelevant. Yeah. Low profits and limited growth, handsome profits and quantum growth. I think that is what entrepreneur should do. Focus on. Exploit existing demand, whereas the blue ocean is to create new demand, where the demand didn't exist. make the value cost trade-off, break the value cost trade-off. Huge brand spending in the what you call red ocean, you have to spend a lot of money in branding. Whereas in the blue ocean, you create brand equity. Yeah. So how many of you are on the social media? Wow. How many of you on the Instagram and LinkedIn? Yeah. I hope all of you are responsible people posting proper things, because if anybody is going for an employment, then the first thing the HR guys see is your profile and your history. And now they use artificial intelligence and bots to get your profile. So be responsible. But otherwise, social media, you can become very, very popular. You know, you can have a lot of followers. And as an entrepreneur, that will be really a good thing for you to have. Next slide. I already shared with you on Rox's technologies, but with time permitting, we will see if I can share some more. So friends, quality of an entrepreneur, I'm sure all of you have many of these things, but for us to put up and say, here is our strength, and what are one or two areas where we need to improve, is perseverance, persistence, not to give up. Yeah, because first time when you have an idea, they say, oh, these are BS. Sorry for using an unparliamentary language. It did not work, it's a useless idea. People will mock at you, cynics are there to pull you down. But you should never give up. Be flexible. Sometimes you can change the path. Yeah, I make a mistake, so I'll go around. Capacity to plan and organize. Able to physical and emotional stress take on, because it's going to be a huge, you need to have a lot of energy and a lot of what do you call, ability to take stress. Positive self-concept, you should be future oriented, that means you should be a visionary, and ethics and values is very, very important, because the lack of that, big companies are wound up overnight. Yeah. So you had Enron, you had Tyco, you had even the Satyam story, but Satyam story, luckily Mahindra Satyam. Yeah. So you should be able to motivate people, because all your employees will see you as a leader, and if you don't have the motivation to motivate others, employees will feel, I'm working for a company and the leader who cannot motivate. Self-confident, stay customer focused, be a self-starter, have a clear goal on what you have to do, ability to take the risk, and work commitment. Don't give up till you complete the task, and no ego. Because many times I've seen presidents of companies making huge money and they want to start on their own. Suddenly they find no driver, no peon, everything they only have to do. It hurts their ego. As a president, you go meet a client, they will open the PA, will give you coffee. But as an entrepreneur, when you go, nobody cares because you are a small guy. Yeah. But you should not have ego. Because every big company started small, like you're going to start. Yeah. Next. So I would like to almost conclude, then I will spend some 5-10 minutes for Q&A. The advantage of being an entrepreneur to you as an individual is you have self-employment. Employment you can give to your near and dear friends. Okay, you want to create and say, yeah, you come and join my company. You can have a trustworthy people working for you. You have freedom to use your own ideas, innovation, creativity, unlimited income, higher retained income, and you have the independence, you have the satisfaction. I think these are all the great things of an advantage of being an entrepreneur. To the nation, you provide larger employment, results in wider distribution of wealth. Instead of few big industries capturing all the entire wealth, if we have 79 lakh people and by the time all of you become entrepreneurs, I'm sure it will go to more than 1 crore. The wealth is distributed, mobilizes local resources, skills and savings, accelerates the pace of economic development and stimulates innovation and efficiency. So, advantage to you and advantage to our country. So, I would like to conclude by saying success is not what you do compared with others. We always compare ourselves and say as long as we are better than them, we are successful. No. Success is what you do compared to what you are capable of doing. So on that score, we all have the potential. So think positively, and I'm sure at the end of this program, a series of inputs will be given by practitioners, by academicians. A lot of useful inputs will be given. Take it seriously, and those will be, according to me, life skills. And I'm sure when we meet you, you can proudly say, yeah, it all started on Botuka when we attended that session. So I wish you all the best. I'm sure that you will see more and more entrepreneurs. The last, yeah. So I would like to conclude before I ask you all to ask me some questions. The world requires dreamers. The world requires doers. But in India, we want dreamers who do. And I'm sure the Badukans who are going to become entrepreneurs will be dreamers and who will also do. I wish you all the very best. So any questions you have? Just 5 minutes and then we can. Yes. Sit in. Sit down. You are comfortable standing.
So before the session gets started, I asked one of the coordinator why sir is late. She replied me that we actually started this program, planned to start this program on January 4th, but because DG sir follows Muhurtam and all that, so we shifted to January 5th. So sir, do I depend on Muhurtam when how fast should I implement the process or go rapidly simultaneously?
Okay, it's a good question. You need not depend on any Muhurtam. It's up to you. Yeah. If you believe in the Muhurtam, you follow. If you don't believe, you can start anything. Yeah. Yes.
We compete with our rivals. But being competitive is good in nature, right? It gives us a little kind of a motivation every day when we compete with our friends and everyone.
Very good.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's completely bad.
You cannot eliminate competition. The day you become success, a lot of people will become your competitor. They will also copy. You know, Indians are very, very shrewd and clever. Good in copying. Yes, no? I hope students are not good in copying. So, you will sooner or later face competition. But when you are looking at an enterprise, starting, don't try to go and fight with somebody who is already established. You know, they know the market, they know everything. Unless you are coming out with something very new and very innovative. Otherwise, you will sell that product at a lesser cost. Yeah. So I work for Narne Tulama, weighing machine manufacturers in Balanagar, if anybody, and that company is still there. Avery was the world leaders in the weighing machines, and Narne Tulaman was a very small company. And so I wanted to become all India sales. So I engaged Blue Star, who had AC sales all over India, and I negotiated with them and made them sell all the weighing machines. So I increased the sales all over India. And now I have to part of that money to the Blue Star because profit, they have to be partners. Am I right? So I spent. But I thought, where will I get the quantum profit? Quantum profit, I created my own blue ocean. So Narne Tulaman was the first to introduce electronic weighing in the country. We introduced in-motion weighing machine, that is all the train, loco goods. When you have coals in the wagons, it takes 7 days for turnaround. You have to weigh, take it to the yard, empty the coal, again take the empty wagon weight, then only you know what is the weight of the coal. But here, while moving and weighing the axle, in one shot, we can get the weight of the total, the coal as well as the wagon. And when you unload and take a reverse of all the wagons, you get the empty wagon, and within 2 days. So you can imagine 5 days of turnaround for every rake for railways, how much profit we would have added value. So while you may be competing, you also create your own market space. I think that is very, very, important. Yes.
So is it the experience or creative thinking, sir? Like to run a business profitably?
It is both, but first to me is more creative. Experience will come as you go on, and sometimes experience becomes a bottleneck. You don't think differently because you are already used to a pattern. You had a question.
So what's your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
What is my favorite? Okay. That's a good question. I want my customers to be happy. My students to be happy. So if I ask you, are you happy? Maybe a lot of you might be happy, 80%. My goal is, how do I make all of you happy 99.9%? So whoever is my customer in whatever life, I think, can I make an impact and make my customer happy? That is the goal. I hope I've answered your question. Anybody else? Yes.
Sir, how is IITs and IIMs are different from other colleges?
Ah.
What they teach is many startup founders are from.
Can you pass on? Yes, that's a good question. So I'll tell you from my personal experience. I got, I think, 98 or 99% percentile to get into the IA. The guy who got 97 didn't get into IA. It doesn't mean that he or she is less intelligent than mine. Maybe I was a little lucky was. But the 2 years in the IA made a huge difference as compared to my colleague who joined some other college. The reason is, those reputed institutes have fantastic faculty, all accomplished people from all over the world. I'm not saying that other colleges are not doing it, but to get all of them, okay. First is, the students are all intelligent. They all come after a stiff competition. So the teachers have to be 3 times higher than the students, right? And when you get those bright students, they will not be happy if you get 80. Your good name?
Yeshwant.
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 That's it. Yeshwant, you are useless. 80. You are capable of getting 90. Yeah? So that is their aspiration. They want the students to do much more better than them. Having said that, if you are able to put more effort you can beat an IIM hollow. Yeah, this Dobie mark, I call it as the Dobie mark. In those days, the Dobie will make one mark for you. You know, then only the clothes will be distinguished with other customers. The Dobie mark or the brand will help you in your first job. Yeah. After that, nobody cares from where you got your degree. My IIM was only, I think, Shraddha just read out. Otherwise, nobody is bothered from where I did. What I am going to deliver is what matters. Yeah. So, you have to put in little more effort because you will find in an average college fantastic lecturers, but how many of you sitting exploited my faculty? How much you challenge them? No. You're all happy if they complete the syllabus and go. But if you are challenging them, they will also rise to the higher level. You understand? Now when you are in the campus, a lot of them, how much of time we waste. I'm not saying you enjoy, please enjoy, because this youth will never come back. Yeah, you should enjoy. But how many times you are focused? How much of your time you had serious debate with your friend on the subject? How much you challenge our professors? If you do that, in the IIMs and the IITs, those are all, because those organizations, the methodology of teaching is not routine. If you have learned the concept, only then you can appear for the exam, and it is a relative grade. You have to go along with the others. So, for example, I got 8 out of 100 in statistics in my first test. I'm an engineer, distinguished alumni. I got honors distinction, which means I got more than 85 in my engineering. And how to convey that to my father that I got, 6 out of 100. I was feeling miserable. Okay. So next day when I went to the class, I found the highest was 8. Okay. So he got A and I got B. If you get more than 4 C's in a year, you're out of the IIM. So you always have to be on toes. I got 85 in economy. I landed in B grade because 80% of the students got more than 90 in economics. So it's a very competitive, highly intellectual. We all had our own fun. We all had a lot of activities. But we used to go and sleep not for more than 2 or 3 hours a day. That is the difference. So the company, I'm not telling knowledge, the company will think if this guy had worked for 16 hours, he'll at least work for me for 8 hours. And that's why they go to all these. But I am saying, among all the other colleges, our college, I'm proud to say, the Badrukans are making that plan. And when I went to Delhi, there are 8 colleges, universities, want to tie up with Badruka. Yeah, please give us. And how did that happen? Because Badrukans earlier were doing very well in the companies, I made this happen. So the BCom curriculum, I went there to ensure one of the ICI Institute, one Mr. Dayanivas Sharma is from Hyderabad, he's a regional council member, he's the chairman of the board of studies. They are bringing commerce curriculum uniform across India. And the 2 days event I went there was 25 vice chancellors from 25 states attended, we deliberated, and they are going to make. So they are thinking one commerce education, one nation. And they have already signed up with 20 other universities and countries abroad, which means your BCom degree will be recognized anywhere in those 20 countries. Yeah. So the world is changing. So I feel we can create better IIMs here if all of us decide, why not? Yeah. So I went to London School of Business, I was thinking the old building like our building, and new lift in between. Okay. So I was thinking, oh, London School of Business. I thought, wow, it was a great world famous, but it is all old as well as new. You know, you can make out it's not like a great infra they have. But if you go there, the environment is so challenging. The students are arguing with the faculty, and in the lift, they never even bothered I existed. They both were arguing and going up. I said, wow, what a great environment. So those kind of things I feel we can create. We can create. If all of us decide, we can create. Yeah. Okay, so I'd like to thank Vitesh and Shraddha and I don't know who are the other office bearers of the Entrepreneurship Club. So you can distribute your tips. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before we go for the official vote of thanks, two things. First, Bida, if you can please ask your question, what you had asked. Yeah, you got some jovial answer which I think you took too seriously. So I think I can clear that. Please, Bida. Someone please give him the.
Also, before the session gets started, I asked the coordinator why sir is late.
Why sir is late?
Sir is late.
I
And she replied that sir comes according to the board one, so that's the reason. So,
Thank you very much, Bida. Giving you the answer, in fact, I would just, that's the reason I came here. I didn't thought that you had a question related to sir. Yes, we do have a formal vote of thanks, but before that, I personally, as coordinator for EDCell on behalf of the complete organizing team and students, thank you so much, sir, because as sir said, he was in Delhi, he's traveled back to Hyderabad, and he's got an extremely busy packed schedule today. In fact, early morning his meetings started. Still, because he had committed, he had given us a word that he would come. He's actually made someone wait. Sir has come here and given the session. So we are extremely thankful to you, sir. And after listening to your session, at least I personally feel that we all in this room are blessed to have a mentor like you. And I'm sure your word and praises. Thank you, sir. I request Shraddha to give the vote of thanks.
It is my great privilege to present the vote of thanks for today's session. We at Badrika, ESL would like to extend our vote of thanks for our keynote speaker for the day, TG Sir. It was a very knowledgeable and informative session. We have been motivated to a great extent, and this will remain with us for a long time. You have given us the wings to fly in the entrepreneurial journey. Thank you, sir.